This person has been like making the rounds after like Xbox had changed out some of their leadership, and damn, she's gone crazy. She starts with Asha Sharma, Satya's pick as the new Xbox CEO, comes out the gate strong. We will take risks. We will not treat games as static IP to milk and monetize. We will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Games are, and always will be, art. And then, quote retweeting here, she continues, Team Xbox, some of you are asking how much it matters that Asha doesn't have gaming experience. Some thoughts since I've been there. I had never worked in gaming when I joined Activision Blizzard's board and later became CCO and EVP Corp Comms. And although I played games, I wasn't very good. So what you're saying is that you were a DEI hire who didn't know anything about games and had no passion for games, and yet were given a high-powered job in the games industry simply because you are a woman. I can't tell if she's white or not, so possibly a minority. A little DEI hire going on here. The learning curve was huge. I had to quickly understand the products and players. Gaming culture is unique, and it's not just one culture. Call of Duty versus World of Warcraft have very different communities. Launching DIV was totally different from Overwatch work. Getting up to speed took a ton of listening and learning, often the hard way, because while you're figuring things out, you still have to do your job. Obviously, when you get a job in some kind of industry that is consistently evolving and also has many moving parts, you're going to be learning consistently while on the job. But you shouldn't be getting one of these high-powered jobs and needing to learn everything about your job while on the job. It should be somebody who has passion for the industry as well as experience in the industry, and they will be better equipped to then learn the things that are necessary as they go forward. This brings us back to Kim Belair talking about how you need to hire your friends into the industry and they can just learn while they're already in a position. It involved visiting studios, DMing with streamers, talking to devs, and lots of reps getting absolutely murked in Modern Warfare 2. The players made a huge difference. I learned from so many of you, whether you were sharing feedback or meeting up at BlizzCon or cooking me on Twitter. Tough crowd, strong feelings never change. Also, while I didn't have the right resume or a background in gaming, I did know how to communicate, negotiate, get creative, take care of people, and, when needed, fire shots. I still made plenty of mistakes, but my point is that skills from other jobs do transfer. Even though there is a lot to learn for someone without a gaming background, it is learnable. Even if you hadn't worked in the gaming industry, if you had a background in gaming somewhere, right? Being a streamer, being a podcaster, being just somebody who spent like 15, 20 years of their life playing games constantly, right? You have some sort of experience in there, the kinds of people who play the kinds of games, the kinds of things they want to see, the kinds of things that make them incredibly fucking angry. And yes, these are things you can learn while on the job, but you need to have some kind of passion for it. And if you don't have the passion and you don't have the background, why are you there? You can have one or the other or both, but having neither, what are you doing? Amazon is moving more operations to India too. There was a tweet, and I kind of wish I had saved it because I don't think I did, but there was a tweet where a guy was like showing all of the CEOs for all of these different large companies being Indian. And he was saying like, you would think that with all of these Indian CEOs that India would be like on top of everything tech-wise, right? Like their country would be massively booming and everything in that country would be making all of the other countries better because it's the big tech boom, right? And that's just simply not the case. She just wants to get the job done. Playing lots of games in a short period is her way of preparing as best she can, and she shouldn't be put down for that. She's determined to make Xbox the best it's ever been from the foundation built by Phil and Sarah and their team. If I could have stayed after our acquisition, I'd be super excited right now to work for Asha. I will forever be grateful for all of you who welcomed me to this community and gave me advice and encouragement even as I was far from perfect. I hope you'll give Asha that opportunity to load in, learn, and show what she can do. Don't judge the resume, judge the KD. Wouldn't the KD be the resume in this instance as she's the CEO? Either way, this Bumba guy quoted it and said, white men trying to get a job, need graduate degree, 10 plus years experience in a field, a dozen personal projects related to the work, 15 recommendations, 3 people in the company pushing for you, have to pretend to be gay. Non-white women trying to get a job. No experience required. Get to learn as you go. And it just reminds me of Kim Belair saying, hire your friends, get your people into these positions of work, and they'll help you do the work while they're learning. The Lulu Cheng person, she said, the implication that women or minorities need anything other than an even playing field to compete and win on merit has always been insulting, and I'm glad everyone can now say it out loud. So we're gonna get rid of DEI, right? Because DEI is what's insulting. Affirmative action is what was insulting. DEI really screwed over the people it was supposed to help, because now when a woman becomes CEO, everybody starts asking if it was DEI. True! And most of the time, they're right about it being DEI. By promoting an undeserving few for their race and gender, you undermine everyone of that race and gender who earned their success through merit and hard work. Says the woman who admitted she had zero experience in gaming and learned on the way while getting a job that she had no experience to do.
Ironic.
The activists, investors, proxy advisors, and consultants who push DEI on everyone should be ashamed. They should, I agree. I agree. I wonder if she would admit that she benefited from DEI, because it's like, it's nice to say that you're against it and that it was bad and that it had observable bad effects on the way that people see women and minorities in positions, especially positions of power. But I wonder if this is someone who would admit that she benefited from it based on how she got her job with no experience. And then Savvy pointing it out here. This Lulu person said, 1, but she comes from AI. Well, AI is everywhere now. Being able to navigate that is useful. Sure, if she replaces Cortana with Copilot in the next Halo, then let's all freak out. But she has taste and hates slop, so knowing AI is a feature, not a bug. 2, but she's Indian. For fuck's sake, the anti-Indian racism is so dumb. I remember gamers yelling at us every day for more diversity. And now you're ripping someone for being brown? Please.
That doesn't make sense.
That's a very good point, Madam Savvy. That's a very good point. Gamers never asked for that.
I never asked for this.
Gamers never asked for any kind of diversity. Journalist busybodies and people who had no business being in gaming were the ones asking for more diversity. The only kind of diversity that gamers ever asked for was, hey, in character creation, can we have more than like 4 hair colors and like 2 eye colors? Can we have more ability to make our characters anything we fucking want? Like, Perfect World International was able to do it. Black Desert was able to do it. Why are so many games lacking on the ability to create a character with many, many, many options, man? All you'd ever ask for is good fucking games, yes? Good fucking games is what should come absolutely first. This is proof they lived in echo chambers staffed by activists. She later claimed the following. Someone named the Goblin King, not Asmongold, said, again, as many others have stressed, no actual gamer gave a fuck about diversity quotas. True. Those were journalists and performative slacktivists. That's exactly what I said. And she responded, maybe. It's true that media often doesn't represent people's true opinions. Also, for a while, the pro-quota people were loud and the anti-quota people were quiet. The anti-quota people were busy being suppressed for having wrongthink. It's not that we were quiet, it's that we were like purposefully silenced. What the fuck do you mean? Yeah, that definitely proves that she was living in a fucking echo chamber. She was the diversity hire by her own words and has no idea what the fuck she's doing or the people that she's serving. This person said, I always respected Lulu. Her takes on comms are actually great, but it's been jaw-dropping to watch her torch her reputation in the past few days. I had no idea she was this much of an activist. Holy shit, that's crazy. People aren't saying it's DEI because she's a woman, also true. They're saying it's DEI, most are actually saying nepotism, because her resume shows no experience in games, entertainment, or consumer electronics. And because she's transparently lying about gaming and AI slop. If she was a woman who had like an actual background in gaming, and not as an activist, but actually the background in doing stuff in entertainment and in games, and she had a resume of shows or movies or games behind her that were actually good and not like conquered fucking sloppa, nobody would be upset about this. They'd be like, this is a normal human being who deserves this role. Gaming landscape in the US is so bad, we have to rely on Eastern or indie game studios. The Western industry here needs to crash. I don't know if they're European, but Western regardless. That omelet game that I was playing, that's a Western indie. That was pretty fucking fun. But yeah, the actual like professional gaming landscape seems to be fucking rough, bro. Yeah, to be fair, gaming has a long history of putting PepsiCo C-level managers to pilot beloved companies. Unfortunately so. Not sure why. Just like, I can understand transferable skills in some regards, but otherwise, kind of fucking wild. Xbox CEO's profile is 1 month old and shows suspicious behavior. Imagine. Internet sleuths have busied themselves digging into Asha Sharma's Xbox profile, which was revealed by the new Xbox CEO herself on social media. Why do they word it this way? Like nobody should care about the background of the CEO of a massive gaming company. It's just like when we watched the Game Awards like 2 years ago, I think. I don't think it was last year. I don't know. Time is a mystery to my brain. But we watched the Game Awards and they had that one fucking guy that was like, I'm a wholesome Chungus YouTuber just trying to help game developers. And it turns out he was fucking an employee at Tencent. Sharma, who had assumed the role after Phil Spencer suddenly announced his retirement, seemingly created her Xbox account just 1 month ago, and since then has racked up more than 10,000 gamer score across a variety of games. The problem is, the pseudo-detectives analyzing Sharma's profile have uncovered some strange behavior, such as hitting 100% in Firewatch and Ball X Pit, the latter of which she played 43 hours in a single week. She has also unlocked rare achievements in Minecraft and has bounced between random games at what must be an extremely busy time for her. The leading assumption is that Sharma's Xbox account is being artificially boosted to secure more validity amongst the gamers skeptical of her new role as the Xbox CEO. Is that for you. You gotta make it look like you know what you're talking about, even if you don't. Fans have theorized the account is being buffed by scores of achievements that can be unlocked easily. And in Minecraft especially, certain tricks, such as achievement servers, are being used to tick more boxes. This is conjecture, but some things don't entirely add up. For instance, in the month leading up to her announcement as Xbox CEO, Sharma pulled in more than 10,000 gamer score across games like Halo, Forza, Fallout, and most recently, Borderlands. It was also noted that many of the games Sharma is playing are the bulk of Xbox's biggest brands, which could be another attempt to legitimize her assignment. You see, if she was like actually interested in gaming, even as the CEO of Xbox, she wouldn't just play games that exist on Xbox, right? You would want to like get an understanding of what makes games popular on other consoles as well. How long until they pull the actually gamers are sexist and just criticizing her because she's a woman strategy? I will never forget when there was like a moralizing busybody, like female community manager in Terra, and nobody cared that like some of the Gameforge community managers weren't good at playing Terra, because they very clearly cared about the game and they cared about the community and they wanted to do right by the community. But this woman who was a community manager for NMAS on the North American side, she was just kind of like a bitch to everyone. And so when people pointed out that like she kept trying to call herself like some kind of gamer, and then she would go into these dungeons with some of the best PvEers in the server, and she wouldn't even know that standing in the red is bad, and they would just get upset because it's like, well, you're an asshole to people and you're lying about your proficiency and you clearly don't care about the game you work on. And her retort to all of this was like, you're actually just being incredibly misogynist. Oh my god. It appears from the first Xbox achievement unlocked by the profile that the account was started on January 15th, little more than 4 weeks before Sharma officially became the CEO of Xbox. We also can see the account's friend list, which is very small, but includes the likes of Stein, a senior social media manager at Xbox, and of course, Phil P3 Spencer. With the mention of Spencer, it's worth pointing out that Sharma revealed her gamer tag. She almost admitted that she'd just started touching games. One user accused her of doing just that, and she simply replied with, I am no Xbox P3, a reference to Phil Spencer. When asked if the account was represented by some AI construct, Sharma wrote beep boop beep boop. She also explained that her favorite games are Halo, Valheim, and GoldenEye. In a comment, a user explained how Borderlands 2 is a solid recommendation, and Sharma assured them she'd try the game today. Lo and behold, an hour after that comment was made, the Xbox account had started playing Borderlands 2. Something is a little weird about that. Like, if she was a streamer, that would make sense, but a CEO? It could be a nothing burger at the end of the day. It's no big secret that something of a witch hunt started immediately after the news was dropped regarding these major Xbox changes. I don't know how much I would call it a witch hunt. I think it's just people in the games, communities, as players, are just sick of being shit on by the people who create the games. They're sick of the people creating shit that nobody wants to play and pushing it like it's a literal gold bar, and if you don't play it, you're some kind of bigot or phobe or ist who is not a real gamer and has never been a part of the gaming community. The CEO of Xbox, my favorite game is Halo. Witch hunt, oh no, the poor rich CEO. Diddly doodler, thank you. You have an uncle that works at Xbox. No, you're not trying to make yourself sound cool in grade school. They did have a program that would get kids of employees rival consoles to see what they liked about other consoles. See, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Does anyone seriously believe that a corporate executive has time to play games in unemployment mode? The real question isn't if she's pulling an Elon, it's why would we want this to be true? And I think this is where I was coming from earlier, where it's like, you can have like a background of passion for gaming, or you can have a background in being in the gaming industry and making good games under your belt, which hopefully would have given you a passion for games if you didn't already have one. But I can't imagine a CEO who doesn't really like games, hasn't played games, hasn't been involved in games, would do well as the CEO of a gaming company. You can't just take like a CEO of like Hewlett Packard or whatever, or like fucking Staples, and then put them as the CEO of Microsoft and expect them to understand anything about gaming besides make money, numbies go up. Sounds like a failed attempt to placate gamers who, for some fucking reason, think you need to be good at video games to be good at running a company that sells video games. Having a background in market research is far more important to selling video games than a background in game design. I mean, yeah, that's also a good point, but it's still a background in the gaming industry regardless. And I would still prefer somebody who's like, I enjoy games and I want to see people continuing to enjoy games, and so I'm passionate about being the CEO, not just for making money reasons, but because I want to make a good product, you know? The more that they want to make a good product and the more passion they have for the industry they're leading, the more they will try to hire people who share that passion instead of just checking boxes and filling quotas. At least in my opinion. Many accused Satya Nadella, Microsoft CEO, of being a puppet master, while others cried nepotism. With Sharma's background being rooted mostly recently in AI and showing no signs of gaming experience, the new CEO is always going to be an easy target for die-hard gamers. Of course, it could also be Sharma making a dedicated, determined effort to bone up on the product she's going to be spearheading, now that she's the CEO of Xbox. It's not hard to paint this in a positive light. Perhaps she had a month to grind games ahead of going hard on the job. It's easy to see some watching this Xbox profile like a hawk to see what unravels. Do you think Asha Sharma's Xbox profile is legit and she has cranked out the hours in the last month to rack up the gamer score? Absolutely not. There's no way I believe that. There's no way. So the World Updates tweet says, breaking, more than 20 global giants now led by Indian origin CEOs. And they have the CEOs of Alphabet, Google, Microsoft, YouTube, Adobe, World Bank Group, IBM, Infosys, NetApp, Palo Alto Networks, Arista Network, Novartis, Micron Technology, Honeywell, Flex, Wayfair, Chanel, Cognizant, Vortex Pharmaceuticals, Procter & Gamble, T-Mobile, Molson Coors, FedEx, Zscaler, and Microsoft Gaming. And this guy, think of just how improbable it is for this many global companies to select Indians as CEOs by pure merit. For this to happen, Indians would have to be so much more competent than whites, Asians, Jews, etc., that they dominate all measures of performance. Instead, the highest rank ICPC International Programming Contest, India's 59 out of 144. Highest performance on PISA, International School Testing, 73 out of 74. Number of notable Indian game studios, 0. Number of globally recognizable megacorps originating in India, 0. Number of academic Nobel Prizes won by Indians in India in the last 25 years, 0. Now repeat this test for whites or Asians and you'll get the exact pattern you would expect. Indians simply took over these companies through nepotistic fraud on a scale that few are able to comprehend. When you learn about the ISAT culture, it makes a bit more sense. And I think there were some new words that came out. Mr. Obvious post here. Hacker 4chan exposes the Indian concept of Jugaad exploiting and Dhandha and Chori-Chakari, which basically boil down to scamming and repeated thievery like raiding food banks, which is considered acceptable in India. I thought ISAT was bad, but it keeps getting worse. There was somebody that like reposted this picture here, and they were like, ha, the chuds want you to believe that this is a problem, but they cropped the picture. There's actually white people there too. And there's 3 white people in the front of the line because I guess they got there insanely early. And it's like, that actually doesn't help your case whatsoever. Someone said, this is the queue for the University of Galway Students' Union food pantry where genuinely needy students can get some basics. The entire queue, as far as I can tell, is Indian. Well, there was 3 white people in the front. And someone else said, this is like the worst example of our Indian concept of Jugaad. Dishonest, conscious bending of the rules and laws to one's favor. Coming up against institutions set up for only working with high-trust societies. It honestly makes me ashamed to see this because I can see this behavior in India as well, and it clearly doesn't change when large numbers of our people are transplanted into high-trust societies. This is the kind of thing that will slowly but deeply create anti-India sentiment in these societies. And someone else said, not slowly. And then someone on 4chan said, you know about Izzat, but are you familiar with the Indian concept of Jugaad? Jugaad is the Indian term for hacks to exploit the system, or the dishonest and deliberate bending of the rules and laws to one's favor. In India, such underhanded and self-serving behavior is celebrated, especially among the upper and middle classes. It can also mean doing the bare minimum to get by, which is why Indian cooking, craftsmanship, etc. is so terrible. Well, kind of share the craftsmanship thing with China at this point. It often, but not always, is paired with the concept of Dhandha, which Indians will often tell you is simply maintaining a small business or self-employment, but in reality refers to illicit practices and immoral occupations. Another concept to know is Chori-Chakari, which refers to repeated acts of petty thievery, such as taking food from food banks, which are acceptable within Indian culture. They all dress exactly the same. I don't know, that guy's not wearing a black jacket. 4 years of working with Indians has made you vehemently want them out of your country. I remember when everyone's immediate thought of an Indian person was like Apu from The Simpsons, or like, you know, a nice like business owner guy. And then after they did the whole, that's racist, we can't have Apu in The Simpsons, it all went downhill from there, buddy. Restore Britain will, without apology or fear, deport the third world orcs? Can you say that? Who break into our country, rape young women. Okay, well, if it's the rapists, yeah, you can call them orcs. And then expect the British to tolerate their presence. There is finally a political party that will defend our home, our people, our shires. Restore Britain. Can we get a guy like this for the US? Like, after all of the seething of Orange Man bad for, like, the last decade, can we get someone like this? I feel like that would be really fun. For the motherland, that's my soon-to-be prime minister. That's a very base statement. Hopefully, he can live up to his word, and he doesn't become another Nigel Farage. That would be, atrocious. Right side of history bullshit here. What is this commie gobbledygook? North Carolina mom of 3 who vanished 24 years ago found alive, living a new life. And you know what's crazy about this? What's crazy about this is how much my mother lies about. This woman is younger than my mom, so... But at least I think she is. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It says 38, so I'm assuming. Either way, my mom used to say, she would go back and forth between saying her father was dead and she didn't know who her father was, and that her father lived in North Carolina. And when she moved to North Carolina when I was 15, she said that she was going to move to North Carolina because she wanted to be closer to her father. And also, if you remember, when my mother left my brother and I home alone for about 3 weeks or so, when she just randomly decided to drive from Massachusetts to North Carolina, and she came home with a newly released from prison neo-Nazi, that was also North Carolina. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting that I come across this article who has a lady. She doesn't look like my mom, but my mom took a lot of glamour shots in like these exact positions. And my mom had like the blonde giant 80s hairstyle in these photographs. So it's like, that's very interesting. North Carolina is a magical place. It truly is. If it weren't for all the coinky-dinkses with like the things my mom did revolving around North Carolina, I probably wouldn't have been as interested in this article. But you mean Cure Mom isn't an isolated incident? North Carolina just causes this? I guess so. A North Carolina mother of 3 who vanished over 2 decades ago was found alive and living a new life, leaving her family reeling with questions over her whereabouts, according to authorities and reports. And my mom has been pretending to be dead for several years now. Coincidence?
I think not!
Michelle Lynn Hundley Smith, then 38, disappeared in December 2001 after leaving her home in Eden to do Christmas shopping at a Kmart in Virginia. according to the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. Smith's troubling disappearance prompted multiple agencies across North Carolina and Virginia, including the FBI, to search for the mother of 3 for countless hours and pursue multiple investigative leads. Oh no, it's your mom's secret older sister. The mere fact that you had a shred of doubt is so telling as to how bad your mom is. Well, like, they even say, according to the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office, my mom lived in Rockingham County for a period of time, so there's a little too much going on, you know? Smith's troubling disappearance prompted multiple agencies across North Carolina and Virginia, including the FBI, to search for the mother of 3 for countless hours and pursue multiple investigative leads. A missing person flyer distributed at the time of her disappearance noted she should be considered endangered and would not leave her kids by choice. Roughly 24 years later, Smith was found alive and well at an undisclosed location in North Carolina on Friday after officers received a tip, authorities announced. How did they not get any tips for 24 years, I guess is my big question, right? Her current whereabouts will not be disclosed, though her family has been notified that she's been located. I kind of want to go outside and scream, she's alive, she's alive. Smith's cousin Barbara Bird told WFMY News 2. My biggest question is to her, what happened all those years ago in December? What made you leave? What happened? Bird said. That is a big question. Like, what? If she's just been fucking chilling for 24 years, what made her just disappear herself? I never thought Michelle was dead. I knew she was alive. It's just a feeling I had my whole life, she said. In a lengthy statement posted to Facebook on Sunday, one of Smith's shocked children wrote that these last couple of days have been a whirlwind of emotions. She's missing a tooth. As far as my opinions and feelings on my mom, I'm ecstatic. I am pissed. I am heartbroken. I'm all over the map. Will I have a relationship once more with my mom? She said in a statement posted on Facebook dedicated to finding her missing mother. Honestly, I can't answer that because I don't even know. My initial reaction would be yes, absolutely, but then I think of all the hurt. But even then, my mom is only human, just as we all are, she wrote.
I'm only human after all.
As someone with a shitty mom, no, absolute. Like, I went full no contact with my mother as soon as I turned 18. And the only reason I ever started talking to her again was because my meme was just like, Kirsche, that's your mother. You only have one of those. She got so many health problems. She's probably gonna die soon. And I was like, well, that dumb bitch is gonna die soon. I guess I can do it for you, meme. Unfortunately, my mother appears to be like a cockroach. So when my mom was a part of my daily life, she showed me a love and bond that will never ever be forgotten. There were mother-daughter arguments, of course, but right now all I can remember are the smiles we shared, the times together that were happy, and the love that I felt. The motive for Smith's disappearance is not immediately clear. This dumb bitch sounds like a cult member. Like, that's crazy to me. I do not understand how you can look at your mother who abandoned you for 24 years and be like, yeah, that's fine. I remember the happy times instead. All right, I wanted to read this CUNY article. CUNY professor's excuse for blatantly racist hot mic moment as Hunter College faces pressure to fire her. New York City University professor was forced to apologize after she was busted on a hot mic making a blatantly racist remark about black students, as calls for her to be fired continue to escalate. Allison Friedman, an associate biology professor at Hunter College, always them biology people getting in trouble, eh? Sparked widespread fury after she inadvertently interrupted a black 8th grade student's concerns about the potential shutdown of her Upper West Side school during a public community education council meeting on February 10th. Holy shit! They're too dumb to know they're in a bad school. Friedman reportedly said on Zoom while her mic was live, you could never hope to be as racist as one of these fucking people. That is crazy. That's insane. I was just like, oh yes, you know, them's blacks peoples. They's gonna be voting Democrat forever because they's too dumb to get ID. They's too dumb to know they's in a bad school. What kind of fucking person unironically says this shit? Oh my god. If you train a black person well enough, they'll know to use the back, she continued. You don't have to tell them anymore. I thought it's illegal to train black people in current year. Where's she getting her supply from? Also, what does they'll know to use the back mean? What does that mean? I'm not racist enough to understand that. The back of what? Yeah, I don't know what that means. Oh my god. Oh my god. You think it's the back of the bus? There's no fucking way. How? And it's insane to me. It's insane to me that she would say that. What the fuck? The back of the buildings, the buses, just not the wives. Oh my god. What if the wives want you to use the back? Friedman, who was attending the meeting virtually as a parent, has since claimed she was actually trying to explain systemic racism to her own child by referencing an example of an obvious racist trope. But her full remarks weren't completely audible. When I'm in a racism competition and my opponent is a liberal white woman. My complete comments make clear these abhorrent views are not my own, nor were they directed at any student or group, Friedman told the New York Times. Bro, I have never in my life, even on like poll, seen people talking about, well, if you train a black person well enough. What the fuck is this bitch trying to cop here, dude? What the hell? I fully support these courageous students in their efforts to stop school closures. However, I recognize these comments caused harm and pain. While that was not my intent, I do truly apologize. The backlash against Friedman was swift as education officials blasted her remarks and as calls for her to be ousted from Hunter College continued to mount. Look at these people with their hands over their mouths after that happened. That's fucking crazy. That is hilarious. Hunter College must fire Allison Friedman immediately, City Council member Chiose said on X. At CUNY cannot apply one standard for political speech and another for explicit anti-clack racism. Those fucking clankers. I love anti-clack racism. Fuck the AI.
What?
A university that moved swiftly to discipline pro-Palestine activism cannot turn around and excuse racist vitriol directed at black children. Yeah, this woman is very out of line. Like, that is wild to hear. I wonder if this is why, like, people on the left spend so much time trying to hunt down, like, dog whistles that aren't there, is because they know that they say, like, heinous racist shit all the time. And so they're just like, everyone else must be just like me. They're just dog whistling it instead. City Council Education Chair Rita Joseph ripped Friedman's remarks as blatantly racist and harmful. During a moment when a student bravely decided to testify about their school community, Allison Friedman chose to respond with dehumanizing and racist language. This meeting was specifically about, like, this school, I guess that's majority black, being shut down. And this woman is trying to use the excuse of, I was trying to teach my child about discrimination and systemic racisms. But you literally said that the black children are too dumb to know they go to a bad school. How is that teaching your child about the systemic racisms? These comments are vile, offensive, and rooted in the same hateful ideology that has harmed generations of black and brown children in this country. Let me be clear, I unequivocally condemn these racist remarks. Manhattan Borough President Brad Holman, Hoylman Segal, what is that name? Also called Friedman out, saying it was particularly despicable that those vile words were uttered while children were giving testimony at the meeting, exposing them to this hatred. Do you think if this happens more frequently, people will start realizing just how awful majority of the leftist people are? It's been happening since the formation of the left, so no. That's exactly what he meant. I mean, his point is both or neither. Yeah, and it's like, this wasn't some woman making like an edgy joke. This was her just being like, yeah, they're too dumb. We need to train them. Which is a wild fucking thing to say. A wild and egregious and very racist thing to say. Sadly, as Yuri Bezmenov said, you can put all the tangible evidence you want in front of a demoralized person and they won't accept it. Unfortunately true. Asmongold loves playing the black people don't understand the word computer clip for that sort of thing. What the fuck?
Right now we have, you know, young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things.
Why do all people on the left seem to think that black people are incapable of doing anything themselves? Like, their actual belief of how dumb a black individual is far eclipses any kind of racist joke I could find someone on the right making. And it's actual insanity. Like, it's genuinely derogatory and gross to think that they're that incapable. Once you're a Democrat, you're always a Democrat. Oh my god, the toddler ethics, true. You love how the left's race arguments boil down to white man's burden. It's really fucking weird. And the more that they say that like other races are incapable or not intelligent enough, the more it looks like they're promoting unironic white supremacy. Right? They're just like, oh, me as a white person, I have all of this privilege and power and everything is so easy and right and nice for me. But all of those darkies, they're just too dumb to understand anything, and I need to save them. Like, that is unironically thinking of white people as superior to the other races. And yet they're the ones who try to, like, find Nazis hiding in the shadows. The same reason the pedophiles are the most vocal about cartoon characters, true and real. Democrats also say women are too stupid to get a change of address driver's license when married. That entire discourse was so fucking wild. And I had someone try to argue with me about it on Twitter, and it's like they couldn't even keep their argument straight. And it's just like, bro, why do you think that your birth certificate gets changed after you get married? It fucking doesn't. It fucking doesn't. Friedman has a PhD from NYU and researches and teaches cellular neurophysiology, which explores the neural adaptations that are responsible for aberrant social behaviors, according to her bio. Cellular neurophysiology, which explores the neural adaptations that are responsible for aberrant social behaviors. Like, are we talking about, like, murderers and rapists? Or are we talking about someone, like, linking a Stone Toss comic? It was a reprehensible comment and indicative of the exact kind of language that makes students feel as if they don't belong in the public school system, Mayor Mamdani said at an unrelated Brooklyn press conference Tuesday afternoon. NYC School Chancellor Kamar Samuels agreed, saying that students deserve better and that they will be investigating the necessary next steps, stopping short of calling for the teacher to be fired. Well, that's kind of weird. I'm not sure. If this lady doesn't get fired, I think that will usher in a very interesting era. The statement is a direct quote of Carter Godwin, and the entire quote is a lot more intellectual. I do not know who Carter Godwin is. It's the feminine ethics which leads to the infantilization of minorities to view them as naive children who don't know better and must be protected. The pinnacle of feminist intersectional thought, to put empathy ahead of logical thought and to treat people with the limpest of wrists. It's also why they view criminality the way they do. They cannot separate it from race because of intersectionality. The toddler ethics, man.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy.
Can I just say, like, without even bringing up the 960 SAT guy thing, it's really weird and kind of condescending to be, like, sitting in the room with someone who's not white and being like, yeah, I'm actually just like you. We're exactly the same. And it's like, I get why he's saying it for, like, the hot virtue signal talking points, but, like, you're still recognizing race to a point where you're acknowledging we aren't the same, therefore I have to say out loud that we are. Like, if he truly believed that they were the same, he wouldn't need to say it. He would just have the conversation. There wouldn't be any sort of, like, I'm not better than you, we're equals. It would just be like, well, let's have the conversation we were here to have. And if they were here to have a conversation about race, that makes this even funnier.
And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But
that nervous laugh after he said that, he knew that what he said did not sound good.
Literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe
I'm just like you, black individual. I'm also illiterate. What are we doing here? What am I watching in modern politics where somehow we've gone from don't judge someone on the color of their skin to actually, yeah, black people are just like white people. We're also illiterate. Vote for me, I'm stupid and can't read. And yet he's probably way smarter than quite a lot of people who will vote for him. Vote for me, I'm retarded. That's my platform. Vote for me, I have autism. Can't believe you're doing this, but apparently he was talking about his dyslexia, and it was a lot of whites in the group. He didn't mention dyslexia a single time!
Be the wrong business to be in.
I'm not trying to impress you, I'm just saying, I'm also kind of stupid and illiterate. We have so much in common. And then we remember the Little Allies book, where that woman is like, Jessica's nothing like you. She's black. He's an extremely poor communicator. I don't know how many inches of snow New York got during like the big storm that just happened. I know there were like some people in Rhode Island who were basically snowed into their houses and shit. Mamdani did a bureaucracy fail in the shoveling situation. I just don't understand why he was asking for shovelers instead of plowers, I guess. Like in New England, they have these like fancy little machines that can specifically plow the sidewalk. And you know when a street uses them, because like the sides of the sidewalk will be perfectly fucking vertically sheeny.
Spicy,
you know what I mean? Like there's no like lumps in the snow. It's just like perfect wall. The Mamdani administration failed for hours to attract any emergency shovelers at one Queens garage Sunday, while planning to try and dig out New Yorkers with a fourth of the force the city used for its last megastorm. Despite Mayor Zoran Mamdani's widespread attempted promotion of the city's public-fueled emergency shoveling program, a sign-up sheet at the Maspeth sanitation garages was empty. City workers told the Post during a visit late Sunday morning. This reminds me of a tweet that showed a staircase, and the guy took a picture of the staircase and was upset that his neighbor didn't shovel the snow off of his stairs, because apparently his neighbor had been like shoveling the entirety of the stairs for ages or some shit, and then just started only doing their side of the stairs and not his. I don't know, it just makes me think about that. Those shovelers here, why are they shoveling and not like using the special machines that New England people have? I don't even know what those machines look like, because I haven't seen them. But I know they exist. I've seen the sidewalks. I guess those illegals don't care after all. Who would have thunk? Why would they care about not their country? I haven't seen anybody sign up yet today. No one, the employee said. There were also no signs of shovelers lining up for work at 299 South Street at a sanitation garage on Manhattan's Lower East Side. Workers there declined to comment to the Post. Meanwhile, at another garage in Brooklyn's East Williamsburg neighborhood, about 35 people had signed up to help cover the large neighborhood before the snow started falling, a worker said. Snowman henge and other wild blizzard sculptures pop up in NYC parks? I like that. That's cute. Well, city officials said they expect to have attracted a total of 1,400 public shovelers to start round-the-clock shifts beginning Sunday night. That quantity is still a fraction of the 6,454 people who were recruited in the 2015-16 winter season, which saw up to 3,500 shovelers working simultaneously at peak times that period. Once again, where are those machines? Can I look it up?
But please check your neighbors. Just maybe reach out.
I'm gonna eat a soupa.
Let's get it all done once.
Yeah, this looks like it's probably it. So, where are these in New York? This music's a fucking vibe. Yeah, and it's got the perfect walls! Yeah, this has to be it. This has to be it. So, like, why doesn't New York have these? Can't afford it. Sorry, New York is a communist utopia. Well, like, they even said in 2015 they had, like, 3,600 shovelers. Why need 3,600 shovelers when you can buy, like, 5 of these, I guess? You don't know why, but you want to mount recoilless rifles to it. We're Mad Maxing up in here. Yeah, so why doesn't New York have those things? That's my question. Marmalin, thank you. They're illegal due to their emission standards in space. New York bans a ton of stuff like this? Damn, New York's real fucking retarded. This year, shovelers will see the work be even more challenging than the snow deposited by Winter Storm Fern in January, with parts of the city expected to be hit with up to 28 inches of snow. Damn. Sucks to suck, buddy. The snow is also predicted to be wetter and heavier than what New Yorkers have seen in recent years, with meteorologist and Mamdani himself warning shovelers to be careful. The mayor has recently caught some backlash over the city's rigorous sign-up requirements for the program. Being a shoveler has rigorous sign-up requirements? The New York City Sanitation Department website states that in order to register as an emergency snow shoveler, the applicant must provide 2 small photos sized 1 to 1.5 square inches, 2 original forms of ID plus copies, and their social security card. Bro, why is being a communist snow shoveler more secure than voting? What am I reading? That's so fucking goofy. You need 2 forms of ID, 2 photos, and your social security card to shovel snow. But if you want voter ID, you're some kind of bigot. What the fuck are we doing here? Racist snow. The snow shoveling is racist. Well, some have called on Mamdani's administration to change the requirements so as to allow more people to pick up a shovel. City officials claimed there was little they could do about it. Couldn't someone have like a... What do people do when they're making a joke about it? Like a demonstrable act of whiteness? Couldn't they just pick up a shovel? Like, couldn't they just shovel in general, like without asking permission? Why? It's money out of their pocket. As just like, I remember going to a friend's house to get some mangos back from them that they had borrowed and neglected to give back to me for like months. And so it was like really snowy conditions. And we went there, I got my mangos back, and they lived across the street from this little old lady. She must have been in like her 50s or 60s. And she was caring for her mother, who was like in her like late 80s or some shit. And I was like, Dad, you have a plow on your truck. This lady is so old and fragile. And look at her driveway, man. Like, she got to shovel all of that, and there's like a wheelchair ramp, man. And he's like, you want me to plow the driveway down? I was like, you should plow her driveway. And my dad just did it. And I was like, okay, let's plow her driveway. And my dad has plowed out many people in the family's driveways as well. Because it's just like, that's just a nice thing you do. And if he's on the street and he knows the people, because it's a small town, he's plowed them out too. The Plow King. It's just weird, like, that there's this whole program that you have to adhere to pick up a shovel, where in my life, when I've lived in like these small tight-knit towns, people just did things. People just did these things. You can just do stuff everywhere but NYC. Yeah, and I mean, some years he got paid by the town to do extra plowing, and that's a pretty penny. There have been people in chat who've talked about the thousands of dollars they get paid to do city plowing. But it's just like, to my knowledge, they would just go to like City Hall and be like, yeah, here's my number. You can call me if you guys need extra plows. And that's just kind of how it worked. We know there have been some press about the requirements, and we want to be clear, as with any employer, the City of New York has a legal obligation under federal law to verify work authorization and maintain proper documentation before issuing payment. DSNY Press Secretary Vincent Gragnani told the Post. Okay, what about all the illegal aliens in the town? What are we doing here? Like, you can't just selectively enforce this shit. We are not legally permitted to hand out checks without completing that process. Ensuring compliance with employment's law isn't red tape for its own sake. It's what allows the program to operate responsibly and sustainably, helping keep our city running through the toughest winter days. Shovelers earn an hourly rate of $19.14! Holy! And the pay jumps to $28.71 an hour after the first 40 hours worked in a week, according to the Sanitation Department's website. You're telling me they're offering $28.71 for the first 40 hours and $19.14 after that? And they had 0 fucking signups? I still think that the, like, requirements to be a shoveler are a little silly when they're a state that is, like, no voter ID requirement kind of thing, and Mamdani is also against voter ID. I think that's kind of silly. But it's like, damn, that's fucking crazy money for shoveling. Espiritu here found a tweet from Nyara, our favorite Klaus. Kaio's tweet gets reposted every time he tries to say something because he thinks that you can't be racist to white people because he's a racist. And Shiro saying, never forget. Klaus going, yeah, Kaio's correct. White people don't experience systemic racism because they made, uphold, and benefit from the system. Being closer to a position of power in the social hierarchy is also the reason why heterophobia doesn't exist, and misandry is not the same as misogyny. That's just not true. If you're racist to white people, you are racist to white people. There's no such thing as reverse racism. You could repackage it in any kind of Marxist language you desire, but that just means you are racist towards white people. In the spirit you saying white people don't experience systemic racism, yeah, that's why we're told daily that because we're white, we need to die and be wiped out. That has nothing to do with our race, right? Which would totally not be racism, wanting a specific skin color of people to die. Your own logic can't hold up because you not only lack it, you're just building bad faith points. And if you dislike white people so much, nothing's stopping you from moving to a country with fewer white people. But we know why you never will. I mean, soon they won't have to. He lives in Germany. Like, it's only a matter of time. They have no idea what a real boot to the throat feels like, unfortunately so. The redefinition of racism is the most retarded move that racists ever made, 100%. And it's just like, I genuinely don't understand the whole, like, the future will be brown talking point, because that doesn't just get rid of white people, that's also going to get rid of the even darker skin tone. And it's nice that there's, like, this huge array of different kinds of people. Why would you want to get rid of that? Why would you want to get rid of that? So this guy says, breaking, leftists who fled to Canada are now begging online for free housing after discovering the cost of living and healthcare are worse than in the US. Saying they cannot work on visas, are burning through their savings, and are struggling to afford skyrocketing rent.
I'm a scholar of the far right who has fled the United States to Canada, and
what the fuck is a scholar of the far right?
And I need help. The situation in Canada is absolutely dire. For Americans who don't know, the housing crisis here is worse than in the United States.
Wow, who could have seen that coming?
6 years, and I have not faced rent as bad as here.
It's almost as if people have been talking about how the Chinese have been buying up real estate in Canada for like 20 years now, man. Wow. Imagine paying attention to what goes on in the world.
When my partner, our cat, and our dog fled the United States, we headed north with the goal of being close to where our families are located, which is on the West Coast. So we are now in British Columbia. More specifically, we are in the Sea to Sky Highway in the Greater Vancouver area.
I have heard that Vancouver is ridiculously expensive. All I know about Vancouver is that I have a sociopath banker friend who was a former sniper in the Canadian military who lives there. My partner, our cat, our dog, 5 guesses who their partner is.
We're attempting to find housing in this, the western side of this region. My partner and I are here on a visitor visa, which is a 6 months possible stay for Americans.
Do you think that she'll just end up overstaying her visa and believe that it'll be as lenient as our fucking retarded government?
But while you're here on a visitor visa, you can't work. So we are currently surviving off of what savings we could get together before we fled the United States. And that's not terribly much. And in Canada, I think it's actually the cost of living crisis is worse here, especially when you are shut out of the healthcare system, when you can't access any of the resources that Canadians have access to.
You mean like how it should be in the US? Like if we stopped giving all of these benefits to people here illegally, we could get them to go fucking home?
And that's understandable. You know, I'm not a citizen of the country, but it is making the...
Why is it understandable that you don't get access to those things because you're not a Canadian citizen, but you fled our country during a time where people are saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't give those things to illegals here? Why is it okay for Canada to do that, but fuck us in the US? The US citizens just have to keep paying for everybody else. What the fuck is wrong with you? This dumb bitch.
Financial situation dire because we can't work. Because there are 2 adults, a cat and a dog, we are looking for more than a room, but a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom.
If you know of a studio 1 or 2-bedroom apartment that we might be able to rent or stay in for free, please DM me or leave a comment on this video. Stay in for free? For fucking free? Are you kidding me? Bro, you'd be lucky if like a friend was like, yeah, you know, average rent around here is $3,000, but I'll give it to you for $1,500. Like that would be a favor, right? Holy shit. No, she is not, in fact, kid. I hope she gets deported. That would be funny.
For free or below market rates. And I know that's a huge ask, but that's what we need. Canadians have been asking where I'm located and what I need because y'all are such lovely human beings. This is the ask.
You know, I kind of want to say Canada should keep her, but if Canada keeps people like this from the US, they'll also probably try to start giving government benefits to people there illegally. Like, Canada's already in enough of a fucking boiling pot, all right? They don't need that.
If you could help me by interacting, reposting this video, I would very much appreciate it.
She has a YouTube. It's glorious. Glorious in what way?
As horrified as I am to be revealing my location, because I'm trying to find a way to get us housing. So if you...
Well, I mean, sex work is real work, and you look kind of like Justin Bieber before he had chiseled man jaw, so you might do well on the streets of Canada.
On Vancouver Island, if you are in the Vancouver or Surrey area with a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, let us know. We can pay rent, but it would probably have to be below market rate. Please let me know if that's possible. You can leave a comment and I'll get in touch with you, or DM me. I will be checking my messages regularly.
She's better than me in that regard. I'm very bad at checking messages. Holy shit. I'll even like start a conversation with someone in DMs and then just be too mentally exhausted to like go back and check if they replied. It's kind of done me a favor. Like, I complained at first that Twitter no longer sent you any sort of notification that you had DMs, but now it's done me a favor because now it's like, I don't even know if you've answered me. It's like, I can check my DMs a month from now and be surprised.
Be paying very close attention to this post. If we can't find housing, we're gonna have to leave, and I don't know where we'll go. So
back home?
I hope that this works.
Back home? It's like that weird fucking freak that was just like, oh, that was Cutie Cinderella, wasn't it? I was like Cutie Cinderella being like, if you're like against illegal immigrants, I hope whatever you want to happen to them happens to you or some shit. I can't remember exactly how she phrased it, but everyone was like, I hope so too, because I want them to go home and I am home. Like, it was so fucking funny how everyone was confused. Oh my god. Quango, filthy fucking quangos. Councilwoman Vickie Paladino, a New York City council member representing District 19 of Queens, says in one video, this leftist scholar of the far right who fled the United States for completely imaginary reasons has admitted the cost of living crisis is worse in Canada. The housing crisis is worse in Canada. Non-citizens should not be entitled to free healthcare. She cannot get healthcare without paying for it. She and her partner cannot survive unless people give them a place to live for free. Pure cinema. Let's also note that Canada is where progressives have run everything for decades now. They're the model government American leftists point to as an example of how to do things right. Yet it's even less affordable and more difficult to survive than the United States. Yet all of this still won't give them a single moment of pause to reconsider their commitment to an ideology that has literally never worked. Everywhere these people are in charge is more expensive, more dangerous, less free, and wildly dysfunctional. But they just keep on believing. I don't know how they do it. Councilwoman Vickie Paladino. Hey, we read one of her tweets earlier. Is she like the only sane person left in NYC? That's crazy. The city gave a $407K budget to a Marxist professor who held a machete to a reporter's neck for her to produce some middle school quality art in the Bronx. Supposedly, her artist fee was only $70,000 of the $407,000 budget, but that pile of crap did not cost $337,000 in materials. So basically, another money laundering scam to give a fat payday to activists. Yet the mayor says we need to raise taxes even more. Damn, that woman's face is fucking just filled with anger. Holy shit. Nutty professor who held machete to post reporter's neck tapped by NYC for $407,000 art installation. Piece of junk. The art installation or the woman?
Both is good.
The unhinged ex-CUNY professor who savagely held a machete to the neck of a New York Post reporter now has a permanent taxpayer-funded art installation in the Bronx. The NYC Department of Cultural Affairs ignored Shalane Rodriguez's infamous past by greenlighting a $407,000 budget for her 23-foot tall brick, steel, and terracotta Marxist monstrosity called Phoenix Ladder Monument to the People of the Bronx. It was unveiled in November along Grand Concourse and Morris Avenue, a little more than 2 years after she copped a wrist-slap plea deal with the Bronx prosecutors for her assault on veteran New York Post scribe Reuven Fenton. She just looks like a bitch. That's not even resting bitch face. Like, she has to actively try to make that face. The permanent work, commissioned by the city through the Percent for Art program, is sandwiched in a ticket of residential buildings and hailed as a testament to the borough's resiliency after the arson spree during the tumultuous 1970s. Weren't the 1970s tumultuous because of all the Marxist bombings? Because of all the communists trying to inflict terror on regular people so that they would usher in the cultural revolution that they wanted? Why? Well, what? The monument, which already has cracks along its foundation, because of course it does, is adorned with images of the phoenix, a mythological symbol of rebirth, a series of piercing eyes, 4 clenched fists signifying black power and socialist solidarity, and the home borough letters B and X. On the top of the structure is an ascending black ladder without an end. You see, the way that she built this makes me think that she was evoking, like, Egyptian imagery as well. And that makes it kind of extra goofy. And then an extra layer of goofy is that it's right next to fucking commie block apartments. Oh my good lord. Looks like the firehouse from Ghostbusters. I just like $407,000 for this piece of shit. That's crazy. If abolition is not solely about what we dismantle, but also about what we build in its stead, then what monuments or points of gathering will we, the collective body of the dispossessed, who make life on the periphery of empire, make for ourselves as stewards of our own histories and futures? She told Hyperallergic in November. I'm hyperallergic to the amount of fucking buzzwords being used here. This is crazy. Just make good thing. Do not preach, just make good thing. Marxists cannot create, brother man. The installation was first commissioned in 2018 through the city's Percent for Arts program, which sets aside 1% of budgets for city-funded construction projects to create new artwork, as part of a now completed $62.5 million reconstruction help of the Grand Concourse. I feel like we need to stop a lot of reconstruction projects, right? Because, like, we already have these grand, beautiful buildings that we no longer have mass skill to be able to produce. If you want to, like, spend money on upkeep and restoration, that makes sense. And the real question is, why are they commissioning a woman who attacked someone with a machete she was well known for keeping in her office? That as well. Like, if you're a violent person, why are you getting paid by the city to make Marxist installations? Don't answer that. We know the answer. A panel of local elected officials, art experts, and community board members chose Rodriguez, who pocketed $81,400 as 20% of the budget for each piece of art created through the Koch administration era program is set aside to pay an artist fee, city officials said. I see, and like, I can also get behind wanting to fund new architectural art pieces, right? Like, just like new statues and shit. But the money should go to like actual artists, not whatever the fuck this is. Bronx residents bashed the piece as a polarizing eyesore. Well, that's because it fucking is. Somebody who's violent, there's better people who should have been given the opportunity, said Frankie Santiago. It looks like a piece of junk. If she's offensive like that and they're using taxpayer money and getting privileges, maybe we should rethink this, said Jose Lopez. Well, they have names that make them sound like minorities. They just don't understand how this woman getting all of this money and making this eyesore is actually beneficial to them. They just don't understand. It looks kind of weird, he added. The self-proclaimed black Marxist told Hyperallergic in November she conceptualized the piece 7 years earlier, during a time where the memorialization of the violent foundations of the United States was collectively being called into question. You mean when leftists were tearing down historical statues and even melting down some of them when they should have gone to museums instead? In May 2023, it was Rodriguez, 48, who showed her own violent foundation when Fenton knocked on her Bronx apartment, seeking comment a day after the then Hunter College adjunct art professor made headlines for flipping out on pro-life students at the Manhattan-based CUNY campus. "Get the fuck away from my door or I'm gonna chop you up with this machete," she shouted from behind her closed door just moments after Fenton identified himself. Look, man, I'm all for belittling journalists because they're not even human. But you just say, oh, you're a journalist? Fuck you, call them a slur, and then don't respond. You don't get physically violent with them. That makes you the bad person. Seconds later, Rodriguez barged out and put the blade to the reporter's neck. Get the fuck away from my door. Get the fuck away from my door, she raged, before later kicking Fenton in the shins and chasing a post photographer to his car after they left the apartment. The party of peace. The party of peace and love and understanding. Her caught-on-camera meltdown made page 1 of the Post with a headline, "The Nutty Professor." Rodriguez pleaded guilty in October 2023 to a count of menacing, a misdemeanor, and to a harassment violation. She was immediately fired from her gig at Hunter after the attack, but dodged jail time and a criminal record through a sweetheart deal brokered by Bronx prosecutors and approved by Democratic Judge Dan Court, by completing counseling and staying out of trouble for a year. Why is there always so much leniency for violent people, man? Like, just Marxists protect their own. In February 2024, she was axed from another teaching gig at Cooper Union for anti-Israel screeds. Her website doesn't highlight any current projects. The NYC Department of Cultural Affairs refused to comment about Rodriguez's outrageous headline-making past. The agency also ignored questions about whether it considered pulling the award before construction began, after a smirking Rodriguez was arrested in May 2023 and slapped with harassment and menacing charges for threatening to chop Fenton up. Man. Instead, the agency said that criminal background checks aren't part of the Percent for Arts commissioning pieces, but it follows city procurement rules to select responsible contractors. You know what I bet would get this changed real fucking quick? If they had some of them POCD and map peoples come in and do like a pro-map propaganda architectural structural art thingy. I'd probably go and change their shit real fucking quick. She can pull a machete on people, but if you're a dollar short on taxes, the entire legal system will destroy you. How the fuck does that make any sense? Have you tried being a communist? Also, if it was a fountain, oh my god. If you know who to call if you have 400 grand to spare and want an ugly brick monolith on your property, right? The agency brushed off concerns about the cracks and fissures already marking the monument's foundation. Public artwork is routinely inspected, and weather-related wear and tear is common, especially after a harsh winter. Winter's not even over, brother man. Any necessary maintenance is typically done once the winter season has passed, the department said. Oh, you know, that's a good way to just launder money forever. If this $407,000 sculpture that we paid this machete-wielding nutcase to build, now we have to continuously pay her in order to upkeep it. Rodriguez declined comment Saturday when approached from a distance outside her Bronx home. Yeah, I don't think I would approach this person at their home anymore. They are clearly unhinged. This installation is made entirely with stale Olive Garden breadsticks. You see, shit like this feels like an immense humiliation ritual, right? This is just like, how can we launder money and enrich ourselves while also shitting on all of the people around us? And this is exactly how.